Hello and welcome, Raymond Modulin, aka the Real Estate Monkey, coming at you again. Today I want to talk a little bit about short sales. Now I know that short sales are becoming very popular, so I thought maybe I would put together a list of some steps that you would need to necessarily do when completing a short sale. So first of all, the very first thing we need to do is identify the short sale candidate. You need to locate the pre-foreclosures in your area, and there's several ways to do this. One is you could actively go out and market for people that are looking to get help from short sales. Put an ad in your local newspaper or something of that nature. The other way is you could actively go out and seek them through the notice of defaults, which in Indiana, there is a paper called the Court and Commercial, which lists the notice of defaults, gives their name and address, and you can, actively market by sending out marketing material to those names of people and explain that you are a specialist in short sales and you can help them. Give them your phone number, give them an email address, something to that effect. All right. So that's one way. The first thing you need to do is identify your short sale target. The second thing is you need to schedule the showing for this property. I'll tell you what, let's back up, because there is a third way to identify the subject, and that's actually that it may be listed on the MLS, which is your multiple listings system or service for your real estate agent. So if you've got a real estate agent or you are a real estate agent, that's a third way, because now it's become very in vogue to list these properties as short sale or potential pre-foreclosure. So that's a third way. Your second step is you need to actually go look at the property. All right, whether you meet them through a direct marketing effort on yourself, whether you meet them through the real estate agent, however it's met, you need to now go and gauge the condition of the property. You need to get a rough estimate of how much work and effort is going to go into fixing this property to get it to either a rentable condition, if that's your goal, or to get it into a resale condition, if that's your goal. All right. The third thing you need to do is do your due diligence. And here is a very big, broad topic, because there is a lot of stuff that needs to be done in your due diligence. The first thing that I would think you need to do is you got to find out what all the liens that are on it. How many mortgages? Are there mechanics liens, tax liens, all kinds of other issues, because this could shoot you down in the water right away. I mean, if you've got a first, a second, and a third, and outstanding mechanics liens, it may just be too much to negotiate to make it worthwhile. So that's part of your due diligence. The repairs. You've got to seek out, now that you've got a gauge of how much needs to be repaired, you're going to have to figure out how much is that going to cost. You might need to get quotes from professional handymen. You might need to do your own quotes. You might need to do anything of that nature. But your due diligence is going to be very important. Also, the due diligence that if you're going to sell it or rent it, don't forget that. What does this house rent for when you're done? Because that's going to help you gauge how much you can pay for it. How much does the house sell for? That will also be part of your due diligence. And if you're working with a licensed real estate agent, which you should, all of this can be done for you by your agent. The first thing the next thing you know is figure out your financing. How are you going to take this property down? Are you going to pay cash? Are you going to have to borrow hard money? Are you going to do a conventional loan? Some method of financing is going to have to be acquired, because in a short sale process, remember, there is a problem with the funding. So some of the acquisition methods that we've talked about, like lease options and land contracts and subject to, which I'm not a big fan of, but those are no longer in your arsenal. You can't use those anymore because the funding is the issue. So you've got to find a way to take that lender out, either through a new loan, a private loan, a cash, something of that nature. Then you've got to make the ever important contact the lender. You've got to start the process by contacting the lender. Now, what you really need to do is find out who the lender is, start with the authorization to release, get that signed by the borrower that's in the house, send all that information to the lender, tell them who you are. Preferably, maybe your licensed agent can start helping you here in this process, negotiating, saying, hey, we need to buy this property, but we've got to buy it for less than it's owed. And that's the process, is contacting the lender. All right. One of the next things that you have to worry about is the documentation that's required for this process. As I mentioned before, a lot of lenders are going to have their own financial statement package that they're going to send to the lender, or they may send it to you to help the lender complete. So there's going to be a financial package in there. There's going to be a personal financial statement for your lender, or I misspoke, for your buyer that's going to sell you the property. There's going to be all kinds of other things they're going to ask for. Traditionally, it's like 2-month bank statements, 2 paychecks, and 2 years taxes to verify that they are not making the money they used to, or that they can't afford the property. You're going to need a hardship letter. Now, the hardship letter is something that's written by the borrower explaining what's put them in this condition. That hardship letter should be, and I always ask for 4 pages because that means you usually end up getting 1. So tell the borrower to write everything. Hey, my dog died, the cat ran away, I lost my job, all of that will go into this hardship letter. I want you to put the authorization to release in this packet again, just in case. You want to write your purchase agreement, stating how much you're going to offer this, and in there you're going to include your loan. And if it's a loan, you probably need to put in the submission of your pre-approval from your lender, plus your proof of cash, because every loan in today's market is going to have some component of cash down. If it's a cash purchase, then you're going to need proof that it's a cash purchase. I have found that bank statements off the internet work just as well as anything. Just print your bank statement off, circle the amount of money, and put that in. Now make sure it's current, not 4 years ago, because they're going to see into that as well. Hopefully your real estate agent has done a CMA for you showing what the property's really worth, plus the list of costs of repairs. And you may put pictures in there with those repairs, so that even though the house is worth $130,000, it may have $30,000 in repairs, which is why you need the short sale. Then last and certainly not least, you're going to need a settlement statement. Most people call this a HUD-1. You're going to need a title company to print up a TBD, which is to be determined, HUD-1, as if it was going to close with the offer that you've given. All right, down in the bottom, it's going to say pay off the first loan, and you're going to show a 0 to the seller, meaning he gets no money. The amount that pays off the first loan is the amount that the lender will get. So you want to put all those together and make sure that you get them to the right person. Now, there's been a lot of talk of all this, of putting color pictures and tabs and all of this. I am here to tell you right now, there has never, ever been a short sale approved because the package was pretty. All right? Where you're going to get burned is if you forget one of the things I just told you. If you forget one of the pieces of paper, traditionally, most asset managers will tell you that your package goes back down to the bottom again, because they can't make a decision without all the information. So that's where you need to spend your time and effort, not making some nice, pretty package that's all bound down the side and tabs. Make sure you have everything you need to prove your offer, what the house is worth, why it won't sell, and the borrower's hardship, all right? Last thing you're going to need is start to negotiate with the lender. Now, hopefully, they're going to accept the offer that you have made. If they don't, sometimes they'll come back and say, hey, look, we need to net, bottom line, X amount of dollars. You then need to help your seller figure out what does that mean in terms of an offer, because there are going to be some closing costs. There's going to be, maybe some realtor fees in there. All of that's going to come off the gross number to give you a net. That net is what the bank is really going to care about, all right? So after you negotiate and you get an offer, you need to get the bank to send a letter to the title company stating that even though they may owe $100, in this particular closing, they're going to accept the $80,000 payment, all right? That letter is called the payoff letter, and you need to get that to the title company to help close. Then, obviously, the last thing you need to do is close. Schedule a closing, show up with your loan money, show up with your down money, do the closing, take possession of the property, and then from there, then you can decide, hey, I'm going to do the rehab, I'm going to rent it out, or I'm going to do the rehab and I'm going to flip it out to a new sale. Either way, you've got a couple of steps that you need to follow, all the way from the acquisition and finding the short sale, all the way down through the closing on this short sale. All right? So in essence, those are the 8 steps you need to close a short sale. I want to thank you for stopping by. You've been listening to Raymond Modulin, a.k.a. the Real Estate Monkey. I've been educating the world one investor at a time, and you're next.